another episode of Day One Mentality, where we talk about the number one thing that has the ability to make or break your dream, your mentality. This is episode number 12, and we are again talking about money, or more aptly, the psychology of money. My name is D.
Mhm.
I'm a private pilot. His name is Mo, the steady athlete, is a fitness coach. What's good, bro?
Not bad. Looking forward for this episode. Looking forward to learn new things again.
Always, man. I feel like I appreciate this time so much because it's just a time to recenter myself.
Hmm.
Especially when I do so much and I do so many different projects. This is kind of a good time to really center myself because essentially
Yeah.
we're talking about like being successful at what we do, and it's a time to kind of zoom out a little bit from everything that I normally do. So I appreciate the time, man. On another note, hay fever has been kicking my backside, man. I went to play football. Normally, I take one tablet a day. I went to play football 2 days ago. I have not stopped sneezing since.
Mm,
It was an AstroTurf pitch. I don't know if there was something about the pitch itself, but
interesting.
yeah. From as soon as I left that pitch, I was like sneezing non-stop. But normally, one tablet does me good. But yeah, last couple of days have been terrible.
So you are Ebola, actually. D? Why are you laughing?
Look, my fitness is so bad.
What do you mean?
The day before I did like all football drills. I was like, yeah, cool. I've got the roulette. I've got I've got all these tricks that I'm gonna do. But on the day, I'm running so much, and because I was playing at the front, I'm like chasing the ball this side, chasing the ball that side. By the time I get the ball, I'm like tripping over myself. They didn't
Were you
even have
like
to. They didn't have to tackle me. I tackled myself for them.
watching highlights like prime Ronaldinho the day before?
They
What was it?
no, I was just imagining myself, man. I was like, yeah, a visualization. Yeah, so there you go. That's a life skill. Visualization without consistent practice, not going to
Yeah.
take you anywhere.
Maybe it's I don't want to say much, but maybe it's the team you supporting.
The team bro, listen, today,
Mm,
not just Manchester's red, all of UK is red. Okay, cup final day, all of UK is red. If there's anybody watching this video, if you're a Man City supporter, just go on and just leave the conversation, man. No Man City supporters allowed for today. You come back next
because
episode.
yeah, this life is before the actual game. So what's the end result going to be, man? What's your
The end
prediction?
scoreline is going to be 3-1 to United. Bro, why are you laughing? Why is that ridiculous? Why is that funny, bro?
No, I just love it how hope can make people blind sometimes, but it's fine. It's fine.
Listen, it's one game. Over a season, we're nowhere near Man City. But in one match, we can do it. What did we do to Liverpool 2 games ago in the FA Cup? Exactly. They thought they were
I
going to
hope.
beat us, and we destroyed Liverpool. And
I
we
hope.
had everyone playing everywhere. Like literally everyone was just all over the place, and we beat them out of sheer determination. So in one game, anything can happen. Over a season, Man City wins. One game, we win. And apparently it's
If
going to
it's,
be Ten Hag's last game for
you
United.
think? You think?
That's the rumor. After this game, he's gone.
What
Win or
What do you
lose.
think about that? What do you think about that?
It's a bit sad, but
Yeah.
but apparently we're going to get Poch.
Pochettino. You
Apparently.
think?
That's the rumor.
Well,
That's the
Interesting.
rumor.
Maybe,
That's the rumor.
maybe. I mean, I didn't apply for the job, but maybe it would have been better. Yeah,
Well,
I don't
maybe
know.
you should get applying then.
Yeah,
Eh?
imagine.
Well,
The
there's the age limit for managers is pretty much non-existent. So
yeah,
you can get in at any time, and you can work for as long as you're able to. So yeah, you should go for it, man.
I could play with them. Maybe like, listen, you should do it like this.
That's it. That's it. That's it. Anyways, enough football talk, man. I'm sure I'll mention it again because obviously Man United is going to win the FA Cup today. But what's your week been like, bro?
Mm, I finally submitted my last uni coursework.
Well done,
Yes,
bro.
so I can focus on different things such as the football camp that I'm organizing for children. And yeah, my main focus for the next week is going to be over there.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I can relate to that. It's a huge achievement,
Activities.
man. Nice.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, huge achievement, bro. Um, yeah, because I handed in my last assignment for one of my modules this week,
Hmm.
and then I've got one more next week. So yeah, I could tell there's a weight off my shoulders once I did that. Um, I had a really good flight a couple of weeks ago, actually, because we missed that episode last week. I was going to tell you,
Hmm.
really good flight with some student pilots and a guy who'd never been in a small plane before. We went out to
Hmm.
Lid. Lid is on the coast, on the
Wow.
southern coast.
Hmm.
And then as we were flying, actually, over Southend Airport, there was EasyJet aircraft coming beneath us to land. So it was like a really, really nice view.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How was the feeling of like being able to 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 fly somewhere else and like till there
Freedom.
for a couple of hours? Yeah.
Freedom. Yeah. Just knowing that I can, whenever it's available, whenever the weather's good, jump on a plane, go visit somewhere. It's really nice. And, there's, if I drive somewhere, I
Hmm.
could walk, I could ride a motorcycle, I
Mm.
could um, cycle on a bicycle, right?
Yeah.
That same route. But when I'm flying, there's no other way to have that view other
Hmm.
than being in the air. Do you know what I mean? Unless I'm paragliding or in a different kind of aircraft. So
Yeah.
it's really one of a kind to be able to see things from above. But also, the important thing is I'm enjoying the view, but at the same time, I'm using a skill. Like I'm communicating on the radio, I'm planning what's next. I'm thinking, okay, the landing's going to be coming up soon. So it's
Hmm.
also the skill that I'm using along the way that's really enjoyable.
Hmm.
There's nothing like it, man. Nothing like it at all.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Yeah, for
I don't.
sure.
I don't. I don't want to. I don't want to interrupt your beautiful speech, but
But you just
I,
did.
I need to mention this thing. Do you see this?
Yeah, it's a kiwi. I know what it
It's
is.
a kiwi, and the way to eat a kiwi, actually, the best way to eat a kiwi is with the skin. Get it?
Wow. I think you got pranked, man. I don't
Mm-mm.
think that's true. It just doesn't seem like you should be able to eat the skin
Why not? Amazing.
because the skin looks rough and hairy and not really appetizing.
But you shouldn't judge a skin by the
By the
cover.
skin. Did you check on Google? Did you ask Google if you should be eating the skin? Because Google knows everything, or at least
Mm.
Chat GPT.
Mr. ChatGPT has all the
You
answers.
have
Right?
to ask Chat GPT everything if you want to
Sometimes,
succeed in life.
sometimes your own experience will give you the answers.
Your senses can lie to you.
Mm-hmm. Just let
But
me,
yeah, man.
let me, let me. Mm,
Amazing. Amazing. But
so
yeah, man, it's been a big week for me because I've left the job I've been working at for the last 5.5 years.
insane.
So I'm not going to be working in a school anymore.
How was that? How was
Uh,
living that place?
yeah, it's interesting, man. It was weird. Like with everybody gathered, it felt like I attended my own funeral because normally when somebody's leaving, they do like a little thing, a little mini party, and then they, present a card, and some people might present a flower or
Hmm.
whatever. It just felt like I attended my own funeral. Except I hope at my funeral people are going to be crying a bit more.
We're here. We're being happy. Finally, he left.
Your audio's gone funny.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, yeah. It's you sound like a techno kind of robot type person.
Interesting. Hello, hello.
Yeah, yeah. Nice, got a robotic effect. You might have
Interesting.
to disconnect and reconnect it, or maybe the battery's low. Okay, nothing. Can't hear you now.
Nothing. Yes.
Nah, it's still robotic. Let me
Yes.
let me
Now.
just disconnect and reconnect my one just in case it's me.
Mhm.
Okay, try again.
Yes, Leon.
Okay, you're good. I don't know if it was your
Yeah.
side or my side, but we're good.
Nice. Yeah, but how was living the place?
Yeah, I mean, I told everyone I wasn't really thinking about it. I mean, the kids were a bit sad in
Hmm.
their own way,
Yeah.
which, yeah, I think they're the ones I'll miss the most. Obviously, with the adults, I can always get back in touch with them, so
Yeah.
it's kind of a different thing. But yeah, man, yeah, it's weird, especially sometimes in schools. There's a lot of politics, man. There's a lot of politics, and
That is true because I didn't notice how much politics there were until I came to London and worked in a school.
there's a lot
And
of people who pretend
mm,
and they say the right things in your face, and when you
yeah.
turn around, they don't say. So yeah, I mean, the people who I have genuine friendships with, you know, there's always a mutual respect there, and there's that love there. But yeah, I know there's a ton of people who are there just because,
Mm.
rather than big, that they were actually happy to see me go.
Ooh, big
There's always those
drama.
people. There's always those people, man. And I think one of the biggest skills in life is to know how to deal with people who don't like you, especially if you're going to try and build anything of significance,
Yeah.
right? There's you're going to have people who like you. You're going to have people who don't like you. How do you deal with that? You know,
Mm,
like, and they won't like you for many reasons. Sometimes you remind them of somebody who maybe hurt them in the past,
mm,
and so they associate you with that. Sometimes it's just your personality doesn't mix.
yeah.
Sometimes it's that when they see you, they see an example of what they could be, but they're
Mm,
not. And so there's a bit of frustration, jealousy, maybe. So
mm,
there's many reasons why people won't like you, and there's many reasons why people will like you. You
yeah.
know. But just like when it comes to life, you have to learn to deal with the good seasons, the bad seasons, the winter and the summer. You also have to learn to deal with people that like you, people that hate you,
Yeah.
and be able to do what you need to do. But yeah, it was nice. I got some nice cards. I said goodbye to lots of people. And yeah, looking forward to the next chapter, man.
And to add something about what you said, I feel like if you're able to like not take anything personal, that's just an amazing skill. Even when someone else has something personal towards you, if you're able to just continue without taking it personal, that's just, which is really difficult, but that's I think that's an amazing skill to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
People,
like you
yeah,
said,
go on.
especially in the professional life, you will disagree with people, and still you will have to work with them or manage uh, a work with that person, and that's something you will have to deal with it.
Yeah, for sure. And people react to you because of who they are as well, you know? And like you said, sometimes we can kind of take it a bit too personally, but yeah, people will react to you based on who they are. So it's
Hmm.
always important to remember that. But yeah, it was a good last week. It was a busy last week. Obviously, balancing that and balancing the degree I'm doing. Um,
And I remember last week, and I'm gonna tell you this right now again. I said, congratulations, bro, for taking the step, and try to challenge yourself a little bit more. Try to be uncomfortable again, because after 5 years in a work setting, you just get really comfortable. You know the setting, you know the people, you know how to deal with the children. So it is very easy to just continue over there, which is nothing wrong with it. But in your case, you said to yourself, I need a change, I want to change, I want to improve, I need a challenge. So congratulations for that, see.
yeah, much appreciated, brother. Thank you, man.
Hmm. Anything to add, D, in your week?
No, no, that's it. That's it.
Are you feeling excited for your future to come, for your next opportunities?
Well, yeah. Although I'm not getting carried away by how I feel about it yet. You know, I'm
Hmm.
aware it's going to take a lot of work. It's very different. Whereas
Hmm.
this last job, I've been based in one school.
Hmm.
This new job, I'll be going between different schools and going to meetings and making plans, and so there'll be a lot more responsibility.
Hmm.
So I'm excited. Yes, I'm looking forward to meeting new people, having new colleagues. But at the same time, uh, I'm aware that it's going to require a lot of work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm kind of trying to keep myself sober. And between now and then, there's a lot of things I need to try and get done. I've got 1 week off, so I've got another assignment to get done. I've got a few things I want to put in place. I've got a bit of filming to do. I'm hoping to be able to launch a Future Pilot 901 scholarship this year.
Wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of things to put in place, a lot of videos to be made, a lot of reaching out to do. But yeah, so I don't kind of have time to think too deeply about it. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the new challenge, to growing a bit more. Um, like we've said before, it's not necessarily about what you're doing. It's not
Hmm.
even about what you're getting. It's about what you're becoming. That's the
Hmm.
most important thing, and that we get to take away with us. So
Now, having that said, you mentioned what you would like to do, what your
yeah,
plans are. So
yeah,
let's continue with the minor topics, which one of them is Dream Workshop.
yo,
Dream Workshop is a goal, an idea that we put forward and that we would like to achieve. And from there, we challenge each other by trying to to see how we can achieve the goal, by questioning each other, or by maybe making the goal more challenging, or seeing from another perspective. So that's it. What is your goal that you would like to put forward for this episode, Mr. Dean?
since we're kind of experimenting with this segment,
Hmm.
I want to see what happens if I use the same goal. So I'm going to say the goal for me is to provide a scholarship, a flying scholarship this year.
Nice. Let me get the timer ready, which is 90 seconds.
90 seconds. I'll set it up on my side. Actually, I might not be able to set 90 seconds. Oh, there we go. There we go. Perfect. Ready.
Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. So, scholarship.
Yep.
When are you planning to start with the scholarship?
So the plan is get interest June, decide in July, and actually do the scholarship in August and finish it in August. It will be a partial scholarship, which means that it's going to be probably a few hours of flying, maybe some equipment as well. So it should be doable within a 1 month time period. So August will be the actual flying.
How many students are you planning to start with?
To start off with one, because I'm not rich like that, not yet.
Do you have in mind possible students to provide the scholarship?
Yeah, I've got some candidates in mind that would be good for the scholarship, but I think it's important for me to open it up to as many people as want to apply, and then once they apply, it would then be to shortlist them and decide who out of the applicants is most suitable.
How would you decide who is more suitable then?
Time's up. I would say this. Oh, I can hear your timer. There's I think 3 categories. One, actual capacity to be able to pass the exams. 2, passion and commitment to flying. 3, I'm still working on that one.
You work on that one,
yeah.
Mr. D.
Nice. Like I said, hay fever's been kicking my butt this week, so I might be sneezing a few times during this podcast.
Unacceptable. So thank you for that, D. It does seems I don't know why, but all this time when you were talking about providing scholarship for people, in my head was like a long time goal, and not so soon.
Yeah, but I was going to postpone it for next year just because of how I want to do it. But I kind of pushed myself to think, okay, what's the easiest way I can do it? The most minimal way I can do it so that I can do it this year, because there's no better time than the present.
Okay.
If you want to do something, there's no better time than the present. So yeah, I just kind of thought, you know what, why not just go for it? I don't know how I'm going to make it happen, but then again, I didn't even know how I'd get a license in the first place. And here I am with a license. So I don't know how I'm going to do the scholarship, but I know that I want to, and I know it's going to be beneficial to people out there, to somebody out there. So that's what I'm hoping to do.
Beautiful.
By the way, if you're interested in that, a partial flying scholarship, PPL, if you are in the UK, particularly in the southern regions, drop me an email at Foxtrot Papa, or drop an email to foxtrotpapa91@gmail.com. You'll find the email in the description below as well.
This is an amazing opportunity. So anyone interested, share this video with them, because how many times can you say, can you have the opportunities you have in a scholarship? with the one and only future pilot, number one. So
And
amazing.
look, I know how tough it is to get into aviation, and I know what it's like for people to struggle, you know. So I just want to help out. And I think what I'll do is I'll base it on the interest. If there's lots of people interested, then I'll run it this year. But if I don't get as much interest, then I won't run it this year. So it's really depending on the demand. But if
Hmm.
it's my choice, I'll definitely run it this year.
Nice, nice.
All right.
Thank you for
You're
that,
up.
team. Yeah.
Always a pleasure.
So my goal for the dream workshop will be, I'm going to continue with activities. I said before that I wanted to get up to 50 children in one camp, and I'm gonna stick with that. That's gonna be my goal. 50 children on my next camp, which is gonna be in the summer.
Okay. Setting up 90 seconds. Ready to go.
Ready?
Your time starts now. How are you going to get those 50 children?
So so far, I organized the camps twice already on a age range from 9 years old up to 12 years old. And
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do next is make that higher. So from 5 years old up to 12 years old in
Okay.
different groups.
Okay. So you're going to broaden the age group to try and
Yeah.
get more come through. No problem. Have you thought about things you can do to bring them in?
Yeah. At the moment, I'm working in a school, and I realized that most of the children that attend clubs, football clubs, dance, tennis, are the younger ones. So from 5 years old up to 7, and I realized late, and I realized that late for this camp. So I know that for the next one, I need to target a little bit more the younger ones.
Have you thought about doing something more social as a way to bring them in? For example, a bouncy castle where children can just come and enjoy themselves, and then
Mm,
afterwards they get to play. Have you thought about any social things that you could do that would bring them in?
I did not, but I will take that as a possibility. That sounds great. Yeah, yeah,
And your time is up.
yeah. Great idea, actually. Dave.
That's what we're here for, man. It's just about throwing things out there. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's not.
Mm.
For those of you watching this, if you want to chuck out your ideas in the chat or in the comments, feel free. You know, it's always a good idea to throw things out there. Now, I'm not asking you to put out your most valuable strategies, but it's always nice to bounce your ideas off with other people. So that's what we're here for. Over to you,
Hmm.
brother.
So that's like you said. I never thought about including something such as a bouncy castle, and now that D mentioned it, it's like, wow, that's an amazing idea. So I
Or
would take
food,
that.
or food, or you could think about collaborating with somebody else, maybe somebody who does face painting, right?
Hmm.
And having a
Yeah.
collaboration with them. And you know, I've told you before about playing with social events. So for
Hmm.
example, this may not work, but again, ideas spark ideas. But for example, if you had like a football thing, but then you had a face painter come down
Hmm.
and you advertise that with face painting, and then you know today you would have maybe one group of children can choose to have blue Man City on their face, or
Hmm.
one group of kids could choose to have red Man United on the face,
Yeah.
where it kind of like you're making the most of the the big social occasion that's happening or sporting occasion that's happening, um, which can kind of make things interesting. So um, in adding those social elements, you could also partner with other people
Yeah.
who would benefit from that exposure, maybe, you know. And it
That
would be
sounds
more
amazing.
interesting for the kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It will be like a wider, like for more than just football, for example, or gymnastics or football. I mean, or dancing. So yeah, that's an amazing idea. Thank you, G.
Ah, my pleasure, bro.
Having that said, we're gonna move forward to accountability time,
Yes.
and here, um, what we're gonna do is put each other or keep each other accountable. If last week we said that we wanted to improve something, or our goal for the week was to do this, then we're gonna say, okay, have you done it? How how have you how have you done it, etc. So could you please uh, refresh the last thing you said before the
Testing my
thing?
memory.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I need that button like Joe Rogan. He's got a cough button. Do you know that?
Hmm. No.
So basically, he presses that button and it goes mute. Yes, I do have mute on my phone, but that's a bit. It's not as cool as Joe Rogan's cough button. Anyways, last time I think I said that I needed to kind of balance out a bit more resting.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
And I feel like the last couple of days, particularly, I have taken a bit more rest. I've been in recovery, especially playing football. I mean, playing football for an hour when I don't usually run in the week, it just demolished me. And working on my assignment. So yeah, I have ended up kind of pulling back the last couple of days. I feel like I'm in recovery still, and
Mm,
hopefully, maybe by tomorrow or Monday, I'll be back to firing 100% again. So yeah,
mm.
I have pulled back a little bit when the time allowed, because before yesterday and the day before, I had to focus on the assignment. So yeah, what about you?
I think, if I remember well, I think I said um, I have my goals for the week, but I had to like commit a little bit more on each of them during the week, and I think I did much better than the previous weeks. In a way of like, one of them was making the flyers, the posters, for Activity Kids, promoting them on Instagram, on the street. So that went well. Yeah.
Nice. So the operative question for me is, what is it that you should be doing, that you know you should be doing, but you haven't been doing?
Good question. Something that I should have been doing more often is um, like computer work. I'm really good when it comes to like actually taking physically action, but not great, not the best when it comes to like sitting down and doing any kind of computer work. You know what I mean?
Hmm, hmm.
Um, so I do need to improve there.
Okay. How are you going to
Yeah,
do that?
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to schedule my time better of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Scheduling.
yeah. And like, I think I have some level of like ADHD,
Yeah.
or at least my brain
Yeah.
is a bit like that. So if I exercise early in the morning,
Uh-huh.
is after I'm nice and efficient when it comes to like
Uh-huh.
sitting down, do work.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do need to do that more.
Also, sometimes I find, so there's different tricks I have to use. Sometimes I find that actually I'm better off working on the move. So then I'll work on my phone, but take a walk.
Mm, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
So actually do something where I'm moving and working.
mm,
So um, yeah, depending on how I'm feeling, for example, or I might be like, oh, I can't really sit down. All right, fine, I'll lay down in bed, but I'll be working.
mm,
I would like start to do something. So it depends on what you're working on. Obviously, I can't really do video editing laying down in bed or walking around. So it depends what you're doing. Um, but yeah, there's different kind of tricks that I've used at different times. I would say for myself, um, which it brings us nicely to the main topic, is usually I've got quite a good handle on my money and my expenditures. But I think over
mm,
the last couple like month or so, at least, I haven't been as on top of it or like knowing everything that's happening with my money. So
mm.
it's nice that I've got a break the next week or so and have a bit more control over my time. I think it would be good to go back through my accounts again, look at where my money's going, look at streamlining removing what doesn't need to be there, what I don't need to be spending money on, and just being more financially efficient, let's say. So for me, I think that's very important to get done this week.
Nice. And I think it's something that everyone should be doing more often, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, but normally I've got quite a good spreadsheet where
Hmm.
I've got all my expenses. So usually that's how I look at how I'm spending my finances and then compare that to my bank account, whether it matches up. And yeah, it's very
Hmm.
important to manage money. As they say, you can tell what somebody is committed to by their bank statement. If you look at
Yeah.
your bank statement, you can find out what you really value, you know. And I was speaking to a flight instructor a couple of weeks ago who was telling me, he's just sharing some ideas with me about how to save money because of how flight training is so expensive. And he
Hmm.
was telling me a story about this other guy who literally was just a kid. He didn't have much money, but he started working at a flight school. Then that meant he started get some hours of flying, and then he, did their social media for them, and then he got more hours, and basically he just hustled and hustled and hustled to
Hmm.
get that opportunity to fly. And you know, we were just talking about money and how to save money and things to do ahead of time that will mean that you don't spend money towards the end of your training. And yeah, I said to him, like, he confirmed everything that I was thinking, because I don't understand how people can say, I really want to be a pilot, I can't afford it, and then I see photos of them going on holiday,
Hmm.
sipping
Okay.
on sipping on their wine by the pool. you know this is me in Abu Dhabi, this is me in Dubai, this is me in Rome, this is me in Barcelona, this is me. What? How are you? Okay, so you value traveling more than you value becoming a pilot. In which case, stop conning us, stop lying to us, and making us think, oh, yeah, you want to be a pilot, but you just can't afford it. No, you want to be a pilot, but you're not that committed. And your bank statement is the proof of that, So I think it's very important to look at your spending, because I think if you looked at your spending as a stranger, then you learn something about yourself.
Hmm. Yeah. I feel like, yeah, for some people it's just easier, like, to like have their time to relax and like feeling that they deserve it. Well, for you it's a bit of like, mm-mm, no time
Yeah,
off.
you deserve to fail. That's what you deserve. That's what you deserve. You deserve for your dreams to never come true. And that's what you deserve. If that's your mentality, that's what you deserve. In life, you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. You get what you fight for. You get what you sacrifice for. And sometimes you might not even get it, but at least you build an identity of the type of person who's able to battle for what you value. So if
Hmm.
you're telling me you value becoming a pilot and you can't afford it, but you're out off having holidays, it's like you deserve to not be a pilot.
So in your case, would you say that no time off, no holidays until you you actually achieve your main goal or goals?
Look, David Goggins said this. Like, he used to mentor people, he doesn't anymore. But the first question he would ask is, okay, you want to achieve your dream? Okay, what are you willing to give to achieve that dream? If your answer is not anything, whatever it takes, he's not going to work
Mhm.
with you. Like, I love the speech by the hip hop preacher. What's his name? Eric Thomas. He
Mm,
tells this story about this guru. There's this young man who wanted to be successful. And he went to this guru and he said, like, I want to be successful like you're successful. And the guru says, okay, if you want to be successful like I want to be successful, come back tomorrow, 4 a.m., see me then, and I'll share with you
mm,
how to be successful like I'm successful. So the guy comes back in the morning, he's all dressed up in a suit, and the guru takes him to the seaside, right? And says, okay, come, walk in, let's walk in, right? It's like, well, I thought we were going to talk about business. I thought you're going to like share some principles with me that's going to help me be successful. What's this about? I said, do you want to be successful? Come, let's go. So walks with him into the water. The water goes waist high, neck high. And then at some point, the guru says, all right, here we go. Dip your head in. Puts his head in the water. The guru holds his head down, and the guy's kicking. He's like trying to get up, trying to get up, trying to get up. He's holding him down, holding him down. And just before he gets to that point where he's actually going to drown, lets him up. And the guy goes, and the story is, the principle is, until you want it as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. Because at that moment, all that person cared about was breathing. He didn't care who's talking about him. He didn't care what sacrifice, like he didn't care nothing was happening. He didn't care that he's missing out of a party. All he cared about in that moment when he was let up was breathing again. If you want it as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful.
mm.
Because the truth is, life will test us. Life will test you. Okay, do you want it? Okay, do you really want it? How bad do you want it? And if you're not willing to put everything behind it, like you're just going to give up on the way.
Mm. Here is a comment from Kamar saying, I think holiday should only be given to you if you actually achieve something in life. Holidays are meant for relaxing, and you can relax knowing everything is achieved.
Yeah, yeah. I think, like for me, I feel good when I rest, when I feel like I earned my rest. Like if I'm
Hmm.
productive and I've been pushing, I don't feel guilty when I just, I'm relaxing. I'm like, yeah, I've worked hard enough to relax.
Hmm.
So I guess in a way, that's very similar to what I'm saying. I don't know why, but I can't see any comments or any chats on my
Hmm.
side, but I'll leave that to you.
Nice. Then my question for you and for Kamar as well. When can you actually say that you have achieved something? Because someone, if you have the mentality of how bad you want it
Yeah.
to the point that you want the best, you want to be the best of the best. Um, when are you going to be the best of the best? Because in able to be the best out there, you will have to constantly improve non-stop every single day. So when can you actually say I deserve a holidays? That's my question now. And for you, Cameron, as well, please.
When can you say I deserve a holiday? Like,
Mm,
it's interesting for me because in trying to become a pilot, and now I've got my license, when I fly, it's a weird mixture. When I
mm,
fly, it's a mixture of practicing my skill and relaxing at the same time.
mm,
Because, like, last week or the week before, I flew out to the coast. Amazing views, great, like, kind of social environment I was in. I was with three other people, so it was a full up plane. And I got to mentor a little bit a student pilot.
mm,
I got to fly to a new environment. I got to practice my skills, and it was amazing. So it's like it gives back to me. It's different, like if I'm talking about the job that I'm doing to help fund my flying, like that's different. Like there's an aspect of that that gives to me as well. But yeah,
mm,
okay, you do kind of run out of energy sometimes and you need a bit of resting. So um I think for me personally it's important to have that rest time when I feel I need it, because now I can't be productive unless I take that rest. But in terms of deserving a holiday, what's a holiday?
mm. Here is an answer from Cameron. I think you can say you have achieved um, when you want when you wanted something. For example, let's
Mhm,
take D. D is a pilot that had to make to make sacrifices in order to have to be where he is now.
mhm,
Um, if I take D as an example, he just mentioned. If I take you, D, yeah,
yeah.
you just mentioned that for you, holidays and relaxing is a combination of like keep developing a skill. In your case, flying, isn't it?
Mhm, mhm.
So how how could you do that if you are a banker, for example?
How could you what? Oh, like practice
How,
your skill and get that enjoyment? It depends.
yeah.
Like I would say, you have to pursue what's in your heart. Yeah, you have to pursue something you're passionate about, because the deeper you go into your passion, the more energy it gives to you. Yeah, you will be tired. Yeah,
Hmm.
you will be tired because we're human.
Mm,
Shout out Kamar, by the way. Um, so yeah, you will be tired. But it's interesting. It's not
mm,
just a job you're doing. It's not just something you're doing just to get by. It's something you're doing because you love the numbers. You really enjoy figuring things out and figuring out how to make more profit, figuring out where the losses are, figuring out, how you can use the law to like benefit the company. Yeah. Shout out
hmm.
Mr. Kai Roberts. Yeah, man. So that's what I would say, man. It's when you're on your passion, it gives back to you. So for me, it's all about like if I can go on a holiday and it doesn't compromise my dream, that's different. But again, I'm speaking about a specific situation where I hear people saying like, I would love to be a pilot. It's just expensive. And then I see them go on holidays. And I'm like, well, you don't really want to be a pilot. You want to have holidays more than you want to be a pilot.
Mm, okay.
In which case, it's okay to admit it, right? It's okay to say, this is the case. Just tell the truth. That's my whole thing. Be consistent. Tell the truth. You don't want it that bad. You just kind of want it. And that's okay. Because
Hmm.
it's not everything that you're going to want that badly. Do you know what I mean? Like my aviation, that I want badly. But there's some things I want, but I don't want it that bad. And that's okay.
Hmm.
But I just don't like it when when we're inconsistent. I guess I don't like inconsistencies in myself as well. So when I see it in other people, I'm just like, come on, be honest, man. Just tell the truth. You don't want it that bad, and that's okay. So don't make us think that you're all super motivated and like you really want
Hmm.
it and that money's an actual barrier, because it's not money that's the barrier, it's the mentality, you know.
I'm when I give when I put in perspective, yeah, when I put in perspective, as an athlete or as a physical, as a PT in general. So an athlete, does require having a long a long rest in between seasons, for example, because it is needed in order to like, um, uh, your physical to relax, your hormones, to be more stable as well. And because if you if you're not able to stop and say like, I'm gonna recover, the only thing that will come next is injuries and and over and non-performance on the field. And 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 I think that when it comes to like having a high amount of stress and trying to improve every single day and get solutions to every problem that you get in life, in work, if you're not able to relax, your brain is requires a lot of energy as well. So you do need to be able to relax. And I guess that for some people, the way to do that is by living the the states that they are now, living the city, the busy life, etc. You know,
I don't get how that's got anything to do with what I said.
I think it does. I think it does. I
Hey,
think it does
shout out to the
because
chat, by the way. Shout out to the chat. Loving to read your comments. Some of them making me laugh, man. But yeah, man, I totally agreeing on that. Funny comments. Loving it. Keep it coming. Um, but yeah, so I don't know, man. I don't know. But I just that
this is
inconsistency grates at me.
this is this is something
Look,
to do
so
with.
those people, right? Here's the thing: people generally, the average person wants to talk a lot about relaxing and holidays, and I haven't even seen you grind yet. Like, all right, you've already done that part of your life where you talk about holiday this, holiday that. Okay, cool. Now let's see you actually grind. Let's see you,
Mm,
like, have you ever actually worked? Because you have to find your limit, right? You have to
mm,
find your limit. And to
yeah.
find your limit, sometimes you have to go slightly past the limit. And that's part of being human. And sometimes you realize, oh, I've been too relaxed. Or sometimes you realize, actually, I've been too much on the grind. Yeah. But also, let me pull this up. Do you know Firaz Zahabi by any chance?
No. Who's this?
He used to train George St. Pierre, who's a MMA champion.
Mm,
And his whole thing about training is if you can lift 100 kgs, train at 50 kgs, but train every
mm,
day,
yeah.
right? So you're not like overly stressing yourself, but you're doing something every day. Because his whole
Mm,
point is if you train at 100 kgs, which is your limit, then you're going to need 2 days of rest, right?
mm,
So you've done let's say you've done 10 reps at 100 kgs, but then you're going to be resting for the next day, compared to the person who does 50 and maybe does 20 reps, but does 20 reps today, 20 reps tomorrow, 20 the day after. In 3 days, that person has done 60 reps at 50, where you've done 10 reps at 100, and then you're out. So he talks about like this training method where you basically do slightly less, but do it very consistently.
Mm.
which over time you're going to have more repetitions than somebody who's like maxing out and having to rest a lot. And then
Yeah.
also, but then when you're approaching a key moment, yeah, when you're approaching like a competition, or you're approaching an interview, or you're approaching like a really key moment, then you
Mm.
ramp it up. You ramp it up. Okay,
Mm.
now I'm going to go 70 kgs. Now I'm going to go 80, 90, and you ramp it up for that. Right. But then you consistently get more reps in throughout the year by doing little bits. And that's where, when, especially in my early days, when I was trying to change my mindset, it was all about like, do something that moves you forward, even if it's tiny, even if it's watching a video, even if it's like answering a question that could potentially get at an interview,
Mm.
and just drafting my answer for that. Whatever it is, just do something. Yeah. Train hard, fight easy. Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's a good one.
You got you got your friends here supporting every single thing you're saying. I love it.
I hope they're also supporters of Man United. That would make it even more special.
Ah, you think? I don't. We'll see.
So let's talk
But
about
anyway,
money a bit. Let's talk about money a little bit more and see where we get to.
yes.
So we've been reading the psychology of money. And I think money is very important because at the end of the day, you need money to make your dreams happen, right? Um, and to pay for stuff, even though it's not the only thing that we need. But so chapter
Hmm.
5 talks about getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. And he talks about the story of this guy that was basically able to get lots of money, but then
Mm.
couldn't keep it. And one of the things that he mentions in that chapter is that you need like a healthy sense of paranoia, where once you do get wealth, you're not kind of like gambling. So you're building like a margin of safety in that, in a sense where, for example, the more, I think how he explains it is, the more things you need to happen right, the worse a position you're in. So you need to be able to go, okay, cool, I've invested in like, let's say these 5 things, and oh, okay, if it doesn't go as well as I was expecting, then I'll be okay. Which kind of reminded me a bit like, that's really interesting.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
to that.
I would love. I would
But
love to hear more.
yeah. So it reminded me of flying, because if I was flying from A to B, right? I never, if I'm like thinking about how much fuel I need to have on the plane, I will never think,
Mm.
okay, it's going to take me 30 minutes to fly from A to B. So I'm just going to have 33 or 30 minutes worth of fuel.
Mm.
If I do that, I need everything to work right. I need to like not spend too long in taxiing. I need the flight to take exactly the right amount of time, and hopefully the winds are good and the winds don't make the like flight longer. It's like I have to build in contingencies, right? To make sure, okay, cool, the flight is 30 minutes, but maybe I'll have an hour and 30 minutes of fuel. So that, oh, if it
Mm.
takes me an extra 15 minutes, I'm okay. So that's the kind of idea that he was saying, at least what I got from it. So was there anything you wanted to say about that?
um. Yeah. Is what I got from that is like the mentality you have a little bit as well, and not only the actual wealth you creating. If I give you an example of like, if you're able to think of your financial cap, like possibilities, the way to create more money, and the way to double or like triple your income in the next years, um, you actually have a wealthy mentality. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
In a way of um, not spending money on necessary things, and try to invest it, for example, and try to come with ideas of of getting more money, creating more money. So that's a little bit what I got from it.
Hmm.
And
And that reminds me, go on, go on.
no, please.
No, it reminds me as well of like the principle of living below your means. And obviously,
Mm,
sometimes that's difficult, um, especially if you're on low income already.
mm,
But I guess for me, this is where I tell people, especially when people tell me, you know, they can't afford flying, for example, is that money is not the only currency.
mm. Mr. Mr. Kai Roberts says, I'm being brutally honest. I've lost respect in money recently. And he
Uh-huh.
continues with, please do.
So there's a big man out there breaking his body for minimum wage, and will live paycheck to paycheck for probably most of his life. Whereas there's also some people who review frozen pizzas for a living and make 100K plus. But the weird part is that that bid man could be 100% comfortable whilst being financially uncomfortable.
Mm,
So there's a mental and emotional component to it. And
mm,
that's very true. It comes down to, you know, what do you want? And, you know, how can you, what makes you feel satisfied in life? Because you might be comfortable with something I'm uncomfortable with, and I might be comfortable with something you're uncomfortable with. And so I think it's important for people to be true to themselves. Like, I could not for the life of me do one job and do nothing else.
mm,
That makes me uncomfortable because I feel like there's aspects of me that need to be used. Like,
mm,
all right, I might, you know, I was working in school, but I want to edit videos. But I want to also have a podcast, but I also want to do these things. And I find a way to bring them all together. Um, so for me, it's like I would be uncomfortable being in a position where I only do one job and then go and socialize. Whereas some people are happy with that, and that's okay because we're all built differently. But funny you should say about the um Mia. Sorry, that's my little niece. Shout out to shout out to Mia. Shout out to Mia. Um Mia, it's good to see ya. Anyways, um anyways, funny you should say that about the bin man, because there's a story in that book where it talks about this guy who's literally a janitor, like a caretaker, right? And
mm,
when he died, he was so rich, but that's because he was literally just living a chilled life and investing his money over a long period of time, investing
mm,
consistently. And that built his wealth. And when he passed away, he had so much wealth to be given away. He wasn't driving a great car, which is, this is an interesting point that comes up later in the book, that actually what we see is not wealth. When you have £100, right? I can't see it.
yeah.
When you buy a watch for £100, then I can see it. But now that you bought that watch, you don't have the £100 anymore.
Hmm.
So we see riches, but we don't see wealth. Yeah, we see riches, but we don't see wealth, because as soon as you spend it, your wealth is gone. Right?
And this is quite common that the true billionaires and the people with wealth, you won't often see them uh, like showing off about their wealth and materialistic stuff.
100%. And that's why he says in the book that saving money or raising your income has also to do with reducing raising your humility,
Mm.
being okay. Like there's, you don't have to have the latest shoes, you don't have to go on the latest holiday, you
Mm.
don't have to have the latest phone, you don't have
Mm.
to have that. Like raising your humility can be a good way of raising your income, because then you're more able to live within your income. But speaking of riches, chapter 8 talks about the man in the car paradox, which is basically this idea that generally people think, oh, if like I'm driving down the road with this Ferrari, this Lamborghini, right, people are going to be looking at me. And he makes the point, when he used to be a valet or something like that, that actually he wouldn't even look at the guy in the car. He would notice the car and think about himself having that car, which
Mm.
is the funny thing, because we think, oh yeah, like if I've got this, people will appreciate this, then like people will notice me. But actually people don't even notice you, they just imagine themselves having what you have.
Yeah. And and I think this is, we always compare ourselves to the people around us. Um and not very often we put things in perspective, or on to think to people that have less than us, ourselves. So for example, I'm gonna compare myself to
Hmm.
people that are financially um at the same level as me, or
Yeah.
slightly above,
Yeah.
and and people that earn millions a year are going to be compared with millionaires that are financially more like capable than themselves
Hmm.
and above them.
Hmm.
and and it is interesting that by seeing someone, like for example me having a watch, I'm going to
Yeah.
compare to someone that has a similar watch or a
Yeah.
watch higher, but never to someone that has a low standard watch than I
Hmm.
have.
Hmm. Hmm. And I think like what that makes me think of is the fact that there's always something to be thankful for. Um, Interestingly, another point that's mentioned in the book is that income has gone higher, but people are
Mm.
less happier because we've
Yeah.
moved that bar for happiness. And again, it's like that comparison thing,
Mm.
um, where it's like, oh, well, you know, maybe that person has got something better or whatever. But in a way, we can also be thankful because there are people in worse situations. Do you know what I mean? Like things could be so
Yeah.
much worse. Like you could have
Hmm.
much less than what you have. Like even if you can't think of somebody specific, but like I've got this one room, but hey, I could be homeless.
Mm.
Hey, I could be in my car. I've been there, done that. Do you know what I mean? And so there's always something to be grateful for. Like you're here, okay, but you could be struggling to breathe. You could be
Yeah.
sick. You could be in ICU right now.
Mm.
And so for as long as you're alive, there's always something to be grateful for. And I think having that gratitude and humility is so important, man. So important in life.
And what people do not realize sometimes, I have a really good friend of mine, which he's really comfortable, financially comfortable.
Yeah.
And he told me this, that in able to be financial free, which is the dream of many people, or to create a good amount of wealth,
Yeah.
you need to put in perspective a few things. Imagine, I'm just gonna I have imagine these
Yeah.
three things represent a cup with water, and each of them, one is time, one is health, and the other one is um, time, health, and I can't remember now. Time, health, and I think. um, quality time, I think it was. No, and money, sorry, and money. Time, health, and money. And in order, if you're not from the monarchy or something, if you haven't lived from a really healthy family, you have to you have to um, in order to have more of it, you need to sacrifice something else. So if you need more money, you might have to sacrifice maybe a little bit your health or your time. If you want more health, you might have to exercise more, so you won't be able to work as hard. So you might have to sacrifice a little bit of wealth or time, and so on. And when you put that on perspective, that's why people say that really wealthy people always say like money is not important. What is important is your family and your health, because I guess that those are the one that realize what the most important things are in life.
I'm not sure I agree with that, but before we look at that, let's see some of the comments. Best book you'll ever read is Millionaire Next Door. I put down a note of that. Definitely wanted to add that to my reading list. It's an old study from the 80s. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Tyson Fury himself said all the money he has is nice, but much rather prefer chips and eggs on a Sunday. Oh, let's see. Is there any other gems in here? Have you picked out any other gems, Mr. Mo?
Not many, not many.
Some of the things that surprised me, the wealthiest people had some of the most normal jobs. Most wealth millionaires in the 80s weren't lawyers or CEOs, but auctioneers. High income, but
That's
doesn't
interesting.
require spending. Interesting. Yeah, something that a lot of people forget to mention with finance is having the ability to fail. £1,100 bet isn't much of a financial outlay and wouldn't break most people for the month, but someone else, that £100 is their entire living for the month. Yeah, very true. Very, very true. And that's why in investing, one important principle is um, invest what you're able to lose. Like invest what you're willing or able to lose. If you know that if you lost that money, you're done for, then you should be using that money to live, kind of thing. Um, so whether it's 50p a day, the thing is sometimes like humility is so important because sometimes we think, no, that's too small an amount. No, like that doesn't matter that much. Like what? I can only put aside 10 pence a day. No, that's like what's that? And this is the same thing I told people. I mentioned in the last episode when I first started investing. Like it was important for me to become an investor, to take the identity of an investor, to start to think like an investor, because if you can set your mind, again, this is day one mentality can make or break your dream, right? And the truth is, until I started investing, I wasn't even thinking about, like, I wasn't thinking like an investor. Do I have a long way to go? Heck yes. I've got a way long way to go. But at least now I think more like an investor than I used to, right? And I started off, put down $10, and I told somebody, yeah, I'm investing. How much you invest? Oh, like $10 pretty much every week. And they were like, yeah, but you're gonna need more than that. You're gonna need more than that. All right. Well, those were two figures. Within a year, my portfolio was up to four figures, like well into four figures. but I had to start with a little. And that's where people need to realize that all you need is a seed, right? And a lot of faith. But you need a seed. And that seed can grow into a tree, and that tree can bear fruit, which can have seed, which can bear fruit, if you remain with it. And so the toughest part is getting people to believe. That's the toughest part. But if you truly believe, you can move mountains, man. Like, if you believe, you can move mountains. It's faith, right? So all you need is a seed. And it's so important for people to not look down on the little that they have, because to get what you don't have, you have to start with what you do have. So the question is, what do you have? Yeah, I don't have money. Okay, but what do you have? Oh, yeah, but I don't have like a family. Okay, what do you have? Okay, maybe I've got this skill. Okay, let's see. What can we do with that? What's the smallest thing we can start with that and see how we can grow it? What do you have? Stop thinking about what you don't have, because you don't have it anyway. The question is, what do you have? Okay, I've got an oven. All right, bake some cakes. How about that? How about you start giving away some cakes and selling that? How about that? Because you've got an oven, you're not using it for much. What do you have? Well, I don't really have my. Okay, but I've got some old clothes. There you go. You can start there. You sell those clothes. Now you can say, I've got, experience as a salesman. All right, cool. Or a saleswoman or a salesperson, just to have
I
a bit of equality in this podcast.
I don't
So,
know.
okay,
I don't know.
cool. Now you've got experience as a salesperson. Now go and get yourself a higher paying job, hopefully. Again, if like go in the direction of your passion. If you have no passion for sales, I would not advise you to do that unless you actually want to develop it. But what do you have that you're interested in, that you have passion for? You got a phone, make some bloody videos, right? How about that? Again, if you're interested in it. But there's no point looking at what you don't have, because you don't have it anyway. But what you do have, you can use. You've got a computer. All right, make the most of that. Don't just use it for Netflix. Use it for something. It's a seed, and I think we overlook. There's this book called Key Person of Influence. Now, what you think of the book is neither here nor there. I don't really care, to be honest. I don't even care what I think of it. Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley. But he talks about like sometimes you're standing on this mountain and like of like wealth, but because you're gazing out, you see how amazing that landscape is, but you don't realize the wealth that you're standing on. And sometimes we don't realize the wealth that we have. Well, all I have is my kids. Okay, so you understand, like, do you know how many skills you have to use as a parent? Like when you got kids, like you're literally resolving conflicts, you're organizing things. Like all of those are skills, that those are seeds. You can use that, you can leverage that, So yeah, yeah. Anyways, rant over. I just had to get that off my chest.
I do have to mention something that when I don't think you remember this, T, but
Go on.
one of the few conversations that we had when I met you ages ago, we were talking about investing in like cryptos or something, and you asked me, do you invest? And I said, I have been learning, but I don't feel like confident enough to actually start investing. And you said, um, and you said, I rather just do it and learn through the process with my own money, because if I with my own money, I'll actually take it seriously and try to learn more and inform myself more, which is something I took from 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 now from yeah since then.
Bro, for years I told myself, okay, I just need to learn a bit more about, yeah, investing. Yeah, I need to learn, and then I'll do it. Bro, I never did it.
Hmm.
I never did it. But as soon as I actually put something valuable, like my $10, now like suddenly my brain's like opened up, my attention, my awareness is
Be
like,
careful.
okay, investing. What is that about? What's people doing? What are they looking for? What's good practice in investment? What's not good practice? Okay, and I've made some mistakes and I've lost a bit of money here and there. You know what I mean? But I've gained money as well, for sure. So yeah, there's no better way. Just jump in, man. Just jump in. What do I think of money? What do you think of money? I
Good
think
question
money.
from Kamar.
Yes, yes, Kamal. I think that money is a representation. I think we talked about this last time. Money is a way to store value, right? So I've got energy. You need my energy in your company or my skill. So I come, I labor, I do something, I'm productive, I produce something, right? And then you could give me a whole bunch of fruit. You could give me a whole bunch of stuff, but then those things can perish, right? Because the fruit might last a week, a couple of weeks, and then it goes bad. So instead of you giving me fruit or giving me golden coins, which will take, I would have to store it, you know, like you'd have to carry all your gold with you everywhere. And, it becomes a bit cumbersome, right? It becomes a bit heavy for you to carry all that everywhere. Or if you gave me in fruit, it would perish. So then we say, okay, cool. How about let's get this paper, which obviously the central bank gives us. And let's say this paper is worth £10. Okay, cool. So then now you exchange that. That's money. Allows the exchange of value, right? It's a representation of value. But before we had money in that kind of exchange, people just traded, right? Okay, I give you clothes, you give me swords, you know? I give you like whatever, this wooden creation, you give me something, it's just trading, right? But then money was brought in to just facilitate that, to store value. And this is why I say to people, like money is secondary. It's a representation of value. What you need is the value. You don't need the money. You need the value. Because once the value is maximized, then money will just prove that there's value there. But it's not the money you need, it's the value. And that's where I try to get people to understand that there is value in your story. There is value in the relationships you build. There is value in your reputation. So when I went to flying lessons, I made sure I was always there, early, prepared, well practiced, briefed myself, ready to go. So that my reputation with my flight instructors is this guy is always ready, always on the ball. Right. And now I can reach out to those flight instructors. And if there was a door of opportunity they can open for me, they'll open it for me. Where I would have needed money, I might not even need money. Because I have that relationship, I have that reputation, because I have that story. My story paid for my first solo. Because I told people, look, I'm so dedicated, so passionate. I'm living in my car. I'm willing to sacrifice myself. Watch me sacrifice for a year. Watch me first. I didn't start with the fundraiser. I started with watch me. Here's a photo of me flying. Here's a video of me flying. Here is me reading in my car. Here is me parked up. Here is me doing another flying lesson. Here is me doing my flying lesson. Watch me, watch me, watch me. And then once people had watched me for like over a year, that's when I went into fundraiser mode. I was like, okay, cool. Now that you know my story and you know that I'm consistent and you know I have integrity, now I can monetize my story. Can you please support me so I can move forward? And people came forward and they supported me way more than I expected. And I was so grateful. And I'll be eternally grateful. But that's what paid for my first solo flight, for me to then be able to first solo for my 30th birthday. So In very few words, that's what I think about money. Okay, so the question about from Kamar, yeah, whether I was living in my car before. So here's how it happened. To give you a brief, and we're going to wrap up this episode. I've really enjoyed this conversation, man.
Mhm.
Um, and I really appreciated the chat joining in. You guys have dropped some gems.
Amazing.
And yeah, it will be great to even go back through that and like read everything properly. But my situation was this: I was living, I was house sharing before I started taking flying seriously. And I had two jobs. I was working at a school, I was working at a pizza place. I had hundreds left over at the end of the month. And I still had the story. Oh, I can't afford flying. And then something happened and I lost the pizza place job. And then I was looking at my finances and I was like, oh man, if only I could have a few extra hundred a month, then I could afford at least one flying lesson a month. And then I thought back, I was like, do you know what? Wait, a couple of months ago, I had the extra money. I didn't use on flying. So maybe it's not the money, it's the mindset. So then I went from that house share and decided, okay, I was going to leave that house share and actually live in my car. So yeah, I came from a house share, then I started living in my car. Then COVID hit very conveniently. So then I had to like sofa surf. Then I ended up living in my car again. Then the next set of lockdowns came down. Then I had to stay at my aunt's house and like sleep on her sofa for like, I did that then for the next 2 years. So that's the kind of journey that I had. So, and the idea behind that was I was paying like a few hundred, like towards renting in a house share. So my idea was, okay, if I'm living in my car, which I already had a car, then instead of putting that hundreds into rent, I can use that hundreds towards flying, which is what I was then able to do. Yeah.
Amazing. And your book is coming when? See?
Sorry, there's something wrong with my connection. You keep turning robotic, so I had to disconnect and reconnect it. So say that again because I missed it.
Your book, your book.
My book.
Yeah, about you sharing your life. When is it coming?
Listen, I've got like 3 or 4 books drafted.
Yeah.
Writing a book is no joke, man. I've got books
Obviously not.
drafted. I've had them drafted for the last few years. It's no joke, man. It's a proper commitment. I think writing a book is like, it can be like probably like running a marathon.
Mm,
I've never run a marathon before, but I can imagine it's probably a similar thing. Um, yeah, probably a similar thing. It takes a lot to process that much information. It will be coming one day, maybe 5 years from now, maybe 4 years from now. I've still got more to the story that I want to add. But yeah, man, it's been such a pleasure discussing these ideas, and ultimately it's about sharpening each other mentally, man. So I always appreciate, like I said, I always feel like this is like ground zero. It's like the center point for me, where we can just get some time to actually talk about how we go about our goals, not being busy in doing the goals, but talk about how we go about it. And hopefully it's useful for you guys in the chat, useful for you guys listening, spark some ideas, spark some thoughts, because ultimately it's what happens between our ears that determines the way our life will go. Yes, there's a place for luck. Yes, there's a place for misfortune. But as we know in life, it's not about what happens to you, it's about how you respond to what happens to you that really determines your future. Mr. Mo, the steady athlete, final thoughts.
Has been fun. Has been fun. Appreciate all the comments. Um, has been active. The chat. I like that. So thank you very much for your time, guys. Thank you for your time, D. And until next time.
Before that, shout out to Kai Roberts. If anybody wants to buy an aeroplane, wants to list an aeroplane for sale, this guy's website, Aircraft 101, is the most swankiest, nicest looking, brilliant website that you can use. So shout out to Kai Roberts. Check out aircraft101.com. Find him on Instagram as well. And shout out to Kamar, he's a student pilot, currently working on his private pilot license. Brilliant young man and bright future. So shout out to you as well, Kamar. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you to all the listeners, the followers. Of course, today is FA Cup final. So good luck to Man United. We're going to win 3-1. Mark my words. We will be back here next week and you can hold me accountable to that. It's not just Manchester that's going to be red today, but all of UK. All right, guys. Hey, see you again next Saturday. From now on, we are on YouTube because Instagram is messing around. So we're going to say bye-bye to Instagram. We're going to have an Instagram account, though, D1 Mentality Podcast, where we're going to be posting our shorts. But ultimately, it will be hosted on the YouTube, usually somewhere between 12 and 12:30. But since we don't have connection issues, we can actually be super on time. With that said, wishing all of you all the best. Wishing all of you all the best in your goal. Go forth. As always, my name is D, Future Pilot 901, reminding you to live your dreams
and enjoy the process by Steady Athletes.
Peace.